Professor, what are your expectations from the summit? Do you think we'll see more cooperation between the three countries?
Look, this summit is really about building goodwill and a commitment back from the last time the three amigos met in 2016. So the idea really is to reset relations, but you have to place all of this in the context of what's going on in Washington, D.C., not only with the infrastructure bill and with Democrats, but also next year's midterm elections. So you want to temper, at least to a certain degree, what's going on outside, because the inside in Washington, D.C., the Biden administration has some difficult wins ahead of them.
Yeah, but Biden's Build Back Better plan includes an electric vehicle tax credit, which would favor U.S. manufacturers. But how much of a concern is that for Canadian and Mexican manufacturers?
Well, it is a concern for them because there's a couple of things. Prior to Donald Trump, there was a lot of agreement about free trade and what that looked like in terms of setting up free trade zones. Obviously, that changed quite a bit under the Trump administration, moving more to a protectionist kind of view, especially around American industries. Now you look at this infrastructure package and what it looks like moving forward for green jobs and for emerging industries. And the vote that's going to be held tonight in Washington, D.C., is really about a lot of those battery companies and what the next economy looks like in the 21st century. But the Mexican government, the Canadian government also want to be part of that move, if you will. And that's going to present some challenges in terms of actual getting substantive agreement. You get something that is symbolic, sure, but can you have substantive agreements? And that's where what we see comes next after the three amigos meet. That'll be something to watch in the next couple of months, especially headed into that midterm election next year.
And what about other potential sticking points? With Canada, for example, Canadian oil pipeline, and Mexico. We know, of course, the border issue continues on the southern border with Mexico.
Yeah, this is where things kind of loop back to what's going on within the Biden administration. You not only have oil and what that looks like in terms of shale production, timber, what that looks like in terms of heavier manufacturing south of the border as well, high-tech manufacturing, all of these things that the Biden administration wants to talk about, but also revolve around issues, say, for example, related to immigration and migration. There's been a lot of tension within the Biden White House about the role of the vice president here. You can't leave her out of the equation. So how you build back better with your northern and southern neighbors is a challenge for this administration. You can get back, you can have that commitment and that goodwill. That's the public face. But really behind the scenes, with past the diplomatic negotiations, what can you pull off with a deeply divided Congress in a country where about 4 out of 10 Americans favor this president? All of that with the backdrop of 2022. That's very difficult. Both the Mexican and the Canadian governments and their industries understand those challenges that are before the Biden administration.
Yeah, a lot at stake heading into the elections next year. Professor David McCuan joining us from Sonoma. Thank you so much.